With over 12 million people crammed into just 837 square miles, Tokyo is the world's most populous city. Nestled inside a nondescript office building among the chaos is Tecmo's Team Ninja, creators of some of the world's most technologically advanced video games, and Ninja Gaiden Sigma. Industry icon Tomonobu Itagaki has taken Team Ninja from a small operation to one of the most respected developers in the industry in the span of a decade. And with Sigma, he's decided to pass the directorial torch on to his young protege, Yosuke Hayashi. What follows is a week-long excursion through the Tokyo underground to uncover the mystery behind Team Ninja and its new luminary, Hayashi-san. It's the first night of shooting, and Tecmo takes us to one of its favorite haunts, a rock and roll bar called Heaven. As the team enjoys the night out, Hayashi-san prefers to stay low-key. On the complete other end of the spectrum is the president of Tecmo America, the enigmatic Satoshi Kanimatsu. If Itagaki is the heart of Team Ninja, Kanimatsu-san is undoubtedly its soul, and he quickly grabs a guitar and begins firing off some riffs. Eventually, the rest of the team follows suit for a full-on Tecmo jam session. When the fretboards cool off, we get a chance to talk to Kanimatsu-san about his hot new director, Hayashi-san.
Up until now, the Ninja Gaiden series and Team Ninja has been led by Itagaki. But it's very important to show our consumers and audience that there's a new generation behind the entire series, and that it's not just Itagaki that we have within our company that is the talent and creative force behind putting out entertaining titles. When we interviewed him, we noticed that there was something different about him. He may look timid and shy, but deep down inside, there's something that was different about him. Most importantly, his passion and his creativeness, and everything that he puts into a product. He's also very intelligent and has a lot of good ideas that he puts on the table. Hayashi has been at Tecmo for 7 years, and compared to some of the other employees that came in at the same time, he has risen through the ranks quite quickly.
As the night comes to a close and the team looks for the next spot, Hayashi-san goes his own way. The next day, and Hayashi-san is making his way to work. Unlike many top-line developers in America, you won't find him driving a $100,000 car to work. He takes the train. After almost 2 hours in transit and a stop at one of Japan's famous vending machines, he finally arrives at the Team Ninja office. This is our chance to sit down and talk to pivotal members of the team. Assistant Director Andy Szymanski is one of a few Americans to work at a Japanese developer.
I'd always wanted to work in development, and in the first Ninja Gaiden, when we were working on that, I was asked by Team Ninja to come in kind of as a temporary loan, so to speak, to write the English script and do everything for that game. And then after that, I had kind of made my place there, and they said, you know, why don't you come in and work on development side full time. So there's definitely no bias in terms of nationality. There's nothing like you're an American, therefore, you know, we're not going to promote you or anything like that. However, and this is not just in game development, this is in any field or in any industry. A Japanese company as an organization is very different from an American company or a European company. So it's less about you know, overcoming the barrier of nationality as it is learning about the culture, learning about the corporate culture, learning about the work ethic, and especially as an American, we tend to be pretty opinionated and we tend to be pretty strong in our views about you know, things like work versus free time and things like that. But for the most part, I have to conform to the Japanese organization. And once I've done that, and once I've earned the trust of all these guys, then they accept me just like they would anybody else. So it's certainly not a ethnicity or a nationality issue. I have to earn my place. Even more so in the US, I think that the Japanese are very strict about making sure that you have earned the right to be in a particular position. When you're on the outside, I guess when you're a gamer who reads magazines, looks at websites and things like that, you see the interviews, you see the screenshots, you see kind of the surface and stuff that is coming out of the team, but you don't get a lot of chance to actually go in and see the inner workings. And it is kind of a shock when you go in there and you realize how much work is literally required on every aspect in order to get something done. Itagaki-san is our leader. He is kind of the force and inspiration that drives the team, and so working with him is it's very inspiring. It's very uplifting. There are difficulties, obviously. Hayase-san is, this being his first major project as director, and also being, relatively young. He and I are about the same age, so I think it's more of a cooperative process with him. He's very authoritative and very definitive when he needs to be. When a decision needs to be made, he will come out and say, do this and don't talk back. But I think that because the Ninja Gaiden Sigma team is composed of a lot of guys who have, are in their 4th, 5th, 6th years and have a couple of projects under their belt, there's a lot of energy there. There's a lot of cooperative spirit there, and Hayase-san is kind of a little bit down to earth in that way. You can kind of approach him and give him your ideas, and you may get turned down, but there's definitely a lot of feedback there.
Females have recently entered the workforce en masse in Japan, and the progressive Team Ninja already has a number of them on staff, not the least of which is environmental artist Etsuko Akiyama.
It hasn't really been difficult at all in that my superiors really look at the work I do and judge me based on that work rather than anything else. Since in Japan now more women are entering the workplace and more of them are being involved in game development as well, I'm really enjoying what I do. Women and children play games as well, and especially in Japan now with the population getting older, we have elderly people also getting involved in games, so I think it's going to be important to have females on the teams to supply that perspective. I like to see how far I can really push the boundaries with creating beautiful backgrounds to get them close or even surpass the real thing. Also, I like to take on more responsibilities as my time with the company increases and work more deeply on the project.
Team Ninja's games are a mix of Japanese tradition and bleeding-edge technology. A trip to Tokyo Dajingu, or the Love Shrine, with lead environmental artist Hideki Nimi, is the embodiment of this ideal. The shrine is intended for the people of Japan to go and pray for a mate or receive a blessing before asking for their significant other's hand in marriage. Entrants to the shrine must first cleanse their hands at the fountain before moving forward.
Since our game features a lot of Japanese elements, it's important to get those themes correct and authentic. Because if what we do doesn't match the real thing, then it's going to bring you out of the experience. So that is important in establishing the overall game world itself, but also to provide a compelling place within the game for the player to interact with. For us, we see Japanese architecture on a daily basis, but a player overseas might not be as familiar with it. So I'd like to think that by incorporating traditional elements and being authentic when creating these environments, that it'll kind of help to bring that culture and architecture to foreign audiences, and maybe give them a better understanding of it. There are instances where we would take, for instance, a picture of this stone here, or of a wood post or something like that at a very high resolution, and then take it back to our office. And then, of course, there are a lot of processes before we can actually use that as a texture. I have to say that I'm most proud of the first stage, because it's a level everyone is familiar with, so it was really important that we show people right away how much the visuals have changed. So we did things like adding color, autumn leaves, and adding a lot more lighting and shadows to make it look more realistic. And also the distance effects, having forests and mountains in the distance.
Back at the office, engineering lead Yasunori Sakuda is playing another developer's game to get ideas and find issues to avoid.
Every time we play a game, we go in and look at what techniques they're using. In particular, for PlayStation 3, we wanted to go in and look closely at the launch titles and see how they were able to solve the puzzle. And since our game is being released relatively early on in its life cycle, it was a huge help to look at the earlier games on the system. The SPUs are the key element that allows us to do a lot of things. Also, the fact that every PlayStation 3 comes with a hard disk equipped allows us to take that into account when doing all the programming. Because we've improved the graphics for Ninja Gaiden Sigma so much, the complexity and resolution for every character model and texture has also increased. Sometimes 4 times or more. So as the size of the data increases, so does the amount that has to be loaded off the disk. So being able to cache data off the hard disk and increase our loading speed allows us to pull off next-generation graphics. If I was to choose whether working on the PS3 was difficult or not, I would say it's on the difficult side. However, I think the PlayStation 3 is like a complex puzzle with a lot of different elements, and you have to go in and solve the pieces of the puzzle one at a time. Once you're able to do that and understand how it works, you can get the most out of it. In that sense, it's really not any more difficult than anything else I've done before.
Knowing when to say no is one of the most difficult parts of being a manager. How does the humble Hayashi-san fare in situations like this? We unexpectedly find out.
Hi. すみません、提案書の方が出来上がりましたので、今見ていただいてよろしいでしょうか?
Sorry guys, just give him a second to do this.
Okay. Yeah, what's up?
He's got a proposal that he's brought in. It's kind of urgent, so just let him do this.
すみません、ありがとうございます。ではこちら提案書なのでよろしくお願いいたします。はい。失礼しました。お疲れ。
どうですか?
新しい企画書らしいね。
What is it? Looks like a proposal for some new game elements and some tweaks on some existing ones.
ダメ。
え?
ダメ。全然。
え? ダメですか?
あいついいやつなんだけど、たまにこう。
The guy who just came in, one of the designers, normally does pretty good stuff, but he doesn't quite totally know what Ninja Gaiden should be yet in order to really preserve the quality of the title.
Tomonobu Itagaki founded Team Ninja 12 years ago. As one of the few true celebrity game developers in the world, how is he dealing with sharing the spotlight with Hayashi-san?
My role in most of Team Ninja's games is, to use baseball terms, would be the starter and the closer. I start things, get them rolling, and then I come in at the end to finish them off. However, as many of you know, the original Ninja Gaiden was a very difficult development process that took many years. I had to come in near the end and really wrap things up. And because development had taken so long and things were so difficult, a number of the members of the team had lost the will to finish the project and didn't believe it was ever going to be done. Some people quit and lost all their enthusiasm, but there were a few select people that stuck with me and helped me finish the game, and one of them was Hayashi. I had a chance to really see what he was made of, and that gave me the confidence to do this. There was a proposal from the marketing team that when bringing Ninja Gaiden Sigma to the PlayStation platform, that it should be made easier, that it should be less challenging. Hayashi was wondering what he should do there, and I told him that PlayStation 3 is a brand new hardware, and you should remember the ideal that makes Ninja Gaiden what it is. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the way it is. It's not so much that I enjoy it or that it's fun. It's an important responsibility for me, and I really feel almost a samurai sense of duty towards that. I've always believed that if a developer's making a game and it's a good game, he should come out and say it's a good game. You know, hi everybody, I've got this good game, and there are too few people that do that right now. The best thing about him is that he never gives up or accepts defeat.
With Ninja Gaiden Sigma practically wrapped, Hayashi-san finally has some free time. He decides to spend it at the temple in Asakusa. The temple is the oldest and most famous Buddhist temple in Tokyo, and its grounds represent the embodiment of Japanese culture and architecture. A huge bazaar acts as a gateway to the temple, eventually spilling out to an incense burner, where visitors must cleanse themselves by breathing in the musty smoke. Choosing such a place to spend his precious free time is the epitome of the Team Ninja philosophy, tradition, and technology. Thursday comes, and with it, excellent news. Ninja Gaiden Sigma has passed certification and is ready for production. It's time to celebrate, and key members of the team head out for a night of food and drink. As they sit and reflect on the development cycle, Hayashi-san sits alone, listening to them crack jokes at his expense. Hearing enough, he bids them farewell and heads out into the night. Later, we would catch up with him in the legendary Golden Gai area of Shinjuku, sitting by himself with a drink, taking notes at 1 a.m. The next day, we'd ask Itagaki-san about this, to which we receive a terse reply.
That's the way it is.
It's been several days of tracking the elusive Hayashi-san around Tokyo, but we finally have a chance to corner him for an in-depth interview and find out what makes him tick.
I think it's an interesting twist of fate because back when we were in elementary school and the original Ninja Gaiden was out, it was a really big game amongst me and my friends. The one scene at the beginning, you see two ninjas running at each other and they jump and slash at each other in the air. And that was just so impressive and made a huge impact on me when I was a kid. So the fact that I'm now able to work on the extension of that series is something where fate has kind of intervened. For me, at this point in my life, I still want to be involved with playing games as much as possible. So even if it means cutting back on my sleep time, I still want to be playing. Every human being is comprised of all their experiences, and it's the same thing with a game. You may have been inspired by other games, movies, or things in your everyday life. So just as no human being's life experiences consist of 100% of watching movies, neither does your typical game. Because for us, that's an extension of our lives, so everything that we experience throughout our life may have some bearing when it comes time to design a game. What we see shapes us, and what we are shapes how the game is made. My personal opinion about that is that we want the game to stand on its own, and we want people to judge us based upon the products we make. What we don't want to do is show the development process and say, well, this is the kind of team we had and this is why the game is the way it is. And use that as an excuse maybe for why something isn't the way it should be. It's a whole lot of fun. That's it. The most important thing he taught me is to always be serious with my work. And that's easy to say, but it's much more difficult in practice. Over the years that I've worked with him, he's on so many occasions told me to always remain grounded in that way, and I think that's important to do. Even though we are ninjas, we're still people. So we have to get up in the morning, you know, eat, go to work, and then go to sleep just like anyone else. There are some times, however, when we're so busy that we forget to eat, and before we know it, we've gone on a fast. But in the long run, ninjas are people too. Well, in mathematics, the symbol for sigma indicates a sum of a set of numbers. The reason we chose that symbol is because this is the definitive version of Ninja Gaiden. It includes everything that came before in previous versions, but a whole lot of new content and everything we wanted to include to make this the best action experience on PlayStation 3. I think it's a difference in culture of how people treat creative types. In Japan, we have a culture of kind of not looking too far behind the scenes. I think the Japanese are likely to look at a finished product and really evaluate that and say, this is really great, but not focus so much on the people that actually made it. Where in the West, it's a little bit easier to personify the product. If someone came to me and asked for an autograph, I would give it to them gladly, but I don't want anyone to think that is a doctor's note for me to get out of class for not doing my job. I think my own personality has been shaped by working at Team Ninja and working with Itagaki. Before I joined the company, I saw him speak and thought, who is this guy in the sunglasses? What's his deal? But ever since then, I've been affected a lot by his teachings and working here. But I'd have to say that if I were going to give a short answer, it would be that I'm a ninja.
Ninja.
Are you ready? Yeah? Yeah? Hey! Cheers!
It's Friday, our last day of shooting, and Tecmo is preparing an event for the US and European press to play the final version of Ninja Gaiden Sigma for the first time. After endless hours working on the game, it's time to send it kicking and slashing into the world. Preparing for his first public presentation, Hayashi-san seems unfazed. We eventually speak with Tecmo's brass, who are supremely confident in Hayashi-san's abilities and the future of the company.
Tonight is called Tecmo's Night Out 07, and it's to showcase that we have young, creative talent and we're very passionate about what they're doing. So we just want everyone to see what we have in store for the future. Why would I be nervous? There's no way I would be nervous. Never nervous. Well, Tecmo does have Itagaki-san, but Hayashi-san is definitely going in the right direction. He has that spirit and determination to take us to a whole new level. One thing I can point out about him is that when he decides to do something, he's going to do it. There's no sign of weakness, and he doesn't make any excuses, and he knows what he's going for. He's a very tough guy. His success is really going to be determined by our fans, so I hope they enjoy his creations and look forward to his games. I definitely feel like I want to be worthy of that praise and live up to that, and create something that will exceed his expectations. I'm 100% excited. No, I won't be nervous. I mean, I'm not nervous sitting here talking to you, and a lot more people are going to see this than are seeing me on stage. No, I'm not nervous. Like always, playing it cool. Since E3 is gone as we know it, I'm glad to be able to present things in this way. I'd have to say that if Hayashi isn't nervous, he's probably a pretty insensitive guy. I know I'd be nervous if it was my first time. Anytime you're about to step into a big moment, you're going to have a little apprehension. And you're going to be excited as well, so he's probably just making a joke. There are a lot of things going on right now that I can't talk about, but I will promise you one thing. I will continue to make truly exciting games.
The event goes off without a hitch, and to celebrate, Tecmo takes some journalists to a karaoke bar. As Itagaki-san looks on, there are plenty of laughs. Well, for everyone but Hayashi-san. After obsessively checking his cell phone for work email, he delivers a heartfelt rendition of one of his favorite Japanese songs. A fitting end to following this charismatic young game director. After a week of following Team Ninja around Tokyo, we're left with just as many questions as answers. With no access to the actual development process, how Team Ninja creates its games shall remain a mystery. What we have learned is that it takes a lot of dedication, talent, creativity, technical know-how, and leadership to create some of the world's greatest video games.
Boobs on the phone. Boobs on the phone. We gotta get these boobs on the motherfucking phone. Hope you enjoy the game, boob. You know?
All right, we're ready whenever you are. Ian.
Okay. I got all the, gas buildup. I can't help it, it's just like, must have been that burrito I had for lunch.
They sell burritos in Japan? All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock.
Remain grounded in that way, and I think that's important to do.
Speak of the devil. Now you love music.
Yes, rock and roll.